Hey there, friends. Sorry it's taken a little while to do another video review. In case you were waiting. I've had life's usual distractions, but then my computer had to go into the shop for repairs for several days, so I was really going crazy without it, and $400 later, I'm not a happy girl, but anyhow, I've got it back. And so today I've chosen to do a review of the online snuff retailers known as snuffstore.co.uk's very own house brand of snuff, a blend called Cafe Noir. In case you didn't know, Cafe Noir translates from French into English as simply black coffee. As most of us are aware, snuff is a relatively inexpensive, hobby or habit, depending on the person. Anyway, it's way cheaper than other forms of tobacco and way better. So about a month ago, for some reason, I became curious as to what the most expensive snuff, the most luxurious, majestic, royal, resplendent, overpriced snuff in the world was regarded as being, so that I could obtain some of it and try it out for myself. So I did a little bit of research, and the consensus seemed to be that it's a snuff called Cafe Royale, once purveyed by the fine tobacco shop in London called G. Smith & Sons. So this particular tobacco shop has been around for over 150 years, and that is quite a history there. I looked around for some Cafe Royale, and I could not find it for sale anywhere. So I located an email address for G. Smith & Sons and emailed the shop directly. And all I received back was a reply that simply said, Cafe Royale was not for sale nor available at this time. And that's it. No further explanation of anything like whether or not it would be available again, or when, or if it was available for purchase somewhere else, or anything relatively helpful. Then I went on to read some more stuff about that shop, and apparently I think the ownership changed hands some years ago, and its reputation for customer service, or lack thereof, has kind of, really gone down the tubes, according to some of the local Londoners and others who have visited the shop as well. Supposedly it's not quite the quaint little shop it once used to be, and is apparently run by a bunch of, quote, arrogant snuff snobs who are pretty unhelpful, according to what I've read online. Now, I'm not going to make a total judgment solely based on the basic email reply I received from them. I mean, they could have just ignored me after all and never replied. But the reply was rather uninformative and vague. And I've never actually been to the shop in London, so I can't really say for myself what an in-person experience is like. So, back to the snuff. The snuffstore.co.uk's tin looks like this. It's my favorite type of tin. It's a wide mouth, screw-on, secure type lid. easy to dip into, aluminum or aluminium if you're British, 10 grams with a simple sticker on the top of it that says Blender Snuff Cafe Noir, and then your usual warning info. Now, you may be wondering, what does this supposedly expensive and fancy Cafe Royale have to do with the snuff store's Cafe Noir? Well, according to, as you guessed it, from what I've read at various sources online, the Snuff House's Cafe Noir is supposedly the same snuff blend that the London shop G. Smith & Sons used to carry by the fancy Cafe Royale moniker. And supposedly it is all made by the Samuel Gawith Snuff Company. Supposedly, according to rumor. Now, are you confused yet? I hope not. You can always rewatch this if you are. Anyway, now, Snuff Store does not name the manufacturer of their Cafe Noir, but it does state on their website that they have commissioned a major UK snuff blender to pull out all the stops and produce a luxurious coffee-flavored snuff for them exclusively. So now one can only really draw conclusions and or speculate and or allege that it's the same snuff. However, many experienced snuffers have said that they also believe the Cafe Noir is the same thing as the Cafe Royale, or at least extremely mysteriously similar to it. So, my friends, you too can perhaps have the opportunity to experience the most regal of snuffs in the Cafe Noir from the Snuff House, which is currently available for sale there. And, well, so that's the interesting little story behind this snuff. And so, now, on to my personal review finally. The Cafe Noir, jeez, come on, I'm so backwards. I don't want to confuse you. The Cafe Noir is relatively a coarse grind, a very, very dark brown in color, and just smells like a fresh brew of fine French black coffee. There's no need to dissect for various hints of flavors. This is just straight up flavored like good black coffee. Let me demonstrate. amazing. It's a bit moist and very, very easy to take for the beginner or the seasoned snuffer, because you can absolutely, definitely inhale it a bit heartily and not get the sneezes. I personally love the flavor of coffee, and I've got about 6 or 7 different flavors of coffee scented snuffs, and I have to say that this is in my top 2 favorites. My other go-to favorite coffee snuff has a much more distinctly creamy flavor to it, and it's just a matter of preference at the time, whichever one I pick to use. I do drink coffee, both black, and also I drink it with a lot of creamer sometimes. It just depends. So it just has to do with what I'm craving at that particular moment. But this Cafe Noir is definitely premium stuff if you like good coffee, especially black coffee. It does tend to form little rocks in the can, as a lot of snuffs do. So I usually just shake it up really well before I open it, and that kind of helps things out a little bit. The snuff lasts about 10 minutes before slowly fading off, and I'd say you could take a quick pinch of the snuff in the morning if you don't have time for a real cup of joe, because it's just as good. Really, just as good. And if this snuff actually did cost more, or a lot more, than your average 10-gram tin of snuff, I would still purchase it. That's how much I like it. But it doesn't at all. It's priced very averagely and very affordably for anyone to enjoy. So there you go. And that's my review, folks. And if you haven't yet tried Snuff out, you need to try it out, y'all. Absolutely. So until the next time I see you again, have fun with Snuff. Good night, friend.